Hi everybody, today a different post, a different video. This one isn't going to be a tricks and tips. This one is dealing with the 5 biggest problem questions you get from spectators when performing magic and how to deal with them. So, I thought this would be useful for those who are starting to get out there and how to deal with these situations, because if you're not prepared for them, they can be really, they can throw off your game. They can be quite stressful. And also they can decide whether or not people like you as a magician or not. So let's get started then. Number 1. How did you do that? Very well, thank you. That's normally my go-to response, maybe not that smart because it looks kind of strange. If somebody says, how did you do that? That was amazing. Be polite, be friendly, don't be smug. Just be like, oh, very well, thanks, or I'm glad you liked it. Would you like to see another trick? Really friendly, really approachable responses to that question are the way to go. Nice and sweet and simple answer to that one. Let's go on to number 2. Normally one you get from little kids or people who've had a few drinks. If it depends who's asking you that question. If it's a little kid, primary school kid, well, sure, yes, it's real. Did you like that? That was great, right? If it's an adult, I don't respond to that. I say, it's clever. What you believe is up to you. I enjoyed it. It was a cool trick, right? If somebody really pushes you on my opinion, I've had that. So is magic real then? Well, I believe in the magic of love. I believe in the magic of friendship. Bit corny, maybe. But I don't really go, yes, I can teleport cards around. I'm one of the X-Men. Or something like that, you know, it just looks daft. But an easy one. Now something a bit trickier. 3. Can I shuffle the cards? Had this one. When you're not used to it, this question can really throw your tricks out. I once was performing for some people in a pub and I didn't know, and they said that and I went, I'd rather you didn't. Look like an idiot. So how do you deal with that? Well, first off, you'll notice I did a video recently, it's up there now, for how to top palm one-handed the card from the top of the deck. That's why I learned that move. If you learn how to palm a card and how to cop the card, so it gives you ways to steal it from the top or the bottom. If they want to shuffle the cards, let them. It might mean you need to do a different ending to the trick, depending on the nature of the trick you're doing. But if they're going, oh yeah, can I shuffle the cards? And you're in the middle of some fancy routine, you know, you go, sure, there you go. They shuffle the cards. As it comes back to you, you just put your hand that's concealing the card on top and do a little dribble. And that'll excuse you bringing your hands together. Okay, so where were we? If I was doing it from the top palm position. So if you've watched the video on that already, or the one I just linked up above, they've taken the cards. I've lowered my hand so they can't see the card inside. As it comes back, I go, great, okay, now then, where were we? I do a little spring, and I've placed their card back on top. Very common question, can I shuffle the cards? There's only reason to say no. Typically people will say that when you're doing a trick where you're shuffling, you're doing maybe some weird shuffle. They're not going to ask you if you're doing something where it's all set out on the table. It's a classic one of when you're doing very much a pick a card kind of trick. Yeah, try to avoid the situation where you have to say no. Just go, yeah, sure. There you go. If you say it really calmly, really casually, and then you casually hand them the cards, and then you're hiding there, one of your hands, it'll look really good when you then still pull off the trick. You'll actually look better for it in a roundabout way. Number 4. I know how you did that. Oh, I know how you did it. You did this. I've had that. Every magician's had that. Especially if you perform for a crowd, you only get one arrogant, smug, something or other. You'll start trying to veer. It's a difficult situation. It's a stressful situation. What I would say is that person going, well, don't tell everybody, but feel free to come and chat to me about it at the end. I'd love to see how you think I did it. Be friendly, be positive with it, even though right then you're thinking, I wish you would die. Be really cool with it. But just like, oh, that's great. Don't tell everybody because you'll ruin it for them. because I've had it for quite a big group of people, and you get one who starts mouthing off, "Oh, I know, yeah." You think, great, you've just ruined the trick for 15 people. Thanks for that. They might figure out, they might have seen a video on how it's done. They may have just saw something because the angle that they're at. Just be like, "What are you friend of it?" "No, you did it." "Oh, cool. I'm really glad you spotted it. Well done." Play up to them. Say, "Well, you must have really good sharp eyes. Nice work. Come and chat to me about it after." Compliment them, and it kind of disarms them because they won't then want to ruin it. Because in front of their mates, if you just say, "Oh, well done, I'm really impressed. How about we chat about it after?" And then who wants to see another trick? And then you just move on. If he then tries to ruin things, he'll look bad, and you look okay. And finally, number 5. Can I inspect the deck? Tricky one. Depends on the trick you're doing. If you're doing a regular trick, where it does not matter what order that deck is in at the end, give it to them. Go, yeah, sure, go nuts. Spread them on the table. Ta-da. You can't see the table. But... Now, if you were planning to do something where you've maybe set up the deck, maybe it's the start of a routine, you've taken the deck out of the box, maybe you've done 2-card Monty and you've used the top of the deck and you've got something set up at the bottom, you've got a bit of a problem then. You're going to have to change your trick if you're going to let them inspect it. I would in that situation say, yeah, sure, go nuts. Better to lose a trick you were going to perform than to lose the audience in complete. You'd rather they stayed on your side if it meant you couldn't do something. If you've got something weird going on with the deck, Svengali, or maybe you're doing Chicago Opener, for some reason you didn't start with it and you're now set. If that's the case, you might have to quickly cop off a few cards from the bottom of the deck, even if you just take a chunk. You just go, yeah, sure, there you go, and you're holding like 6 cards. That would work. Otherwise, if it's something, and maybe you've got another deck of cards in a pocket, that might be a good time to go, how about we just do a deck switch or even completely change your routine and go, well, I was kind of done with cards now. Want to see some tricks with some rubber bands? The other option is to pretend you didn't hear the person while you're gathering the cards together and laughing and talking to 3 or 4 other people. Put the cards in the deck, stick the deck back in your pocket. And they'll be, oh, sorry, okay. And if you've got another identical deck, then you're away, you can just pass on the other deck. Or you can just move on. Oh, sorry, well, how about we look at it later? You just kind of deflect it. You don't, with any of these, want to get in the audience's face, because audiences can turn against you just as easily as they can rally behind you. So the key with all of these 5 today is to look really cool, really friendly. That's the key. You're an entertainer. So there you go. That's my 5 situations of difficult spectators and audience questions that you may have to deal with. I hope you liked it. See you next time. Subscribe.